Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Southampton, part of the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Greg Elliott, and as always today joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host, Zach Ingo Finch, but also today joined by, I'm sorry to say, our second choice of Wrexham guest. Not Rob McElhenney, which we did try, but the next best thing for sure, founder of the Global Sports Podcast Network, and our good friend and Wrexham supporter, Ken Davis. How you doing, Ken? You all right?
I am, and I'm very excited to be on your podcast, which is I've often considered to be the absolute pinnacle, if you like, of podcasting quality. And also I'm very excited about new season, and couldn't be more excited about the game on Saturday. So I'm all in. And ask me any question you want to know about Wrexham, because I am not newbie plastic supporter. I've been watching them since you two didn't exist on the planet.
That's it. It's important to differentiate, right? Because you've seen this sort of new wave of popularity for Wrexham, but it's got to be a good thing, sort of going from strength to strength and back to back promotion with all of this new fan base behind you, right? It's good.
It's. I wouldn't describe it as a good thing. I'd describe it as an absolute effing miracle. I mean, I've been there in the non-league days. Obviously, I've been there millions of times, countless times in the rain, watching them play Tamworth United. And thinking, I've made some bad decisions in my life, and this is the culmination of all of them. You do really question your life choices, don't you, when you're there on a Tuesday night in Tamworth?
Yeah.
And so to find us on a Saturday lunchtime away at Southampton in the Championship feels like not only have I died and gone to heaven, but I've actually in the upper echelons of heaven.
I don't think many people have described St Mary's to that high of a calibre, but
it depends where you've come from, Greg.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think it was only 3 years ago your opening day of the season was against Eastleigh, just down the road, right? So it's
and we scabbed a 2-1 win, and we were 1-0 down until 75 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean that's where we've come from.
Yeah, that's crazy. What are your expectations coming into this season for Wrexham? Again, that's the interesting question, because it's hard to tell. You've seem to have invested quite heavily. You're obviously going to try and make a go of it, but is it just going to be a case of surviving, or do you think the expectation of the club is to push on more than that?
The expectation for the club is definitely to push on. I mean, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney won't be happy until we're in the Premier League, but that won't happen this year. We're not going to go 4 times promotion. I mean, we're just not going to do that. I think as you go up through the leagues, and we've seen it, actually the gap between the leagues gets progressively wider. And so therefore the actual change is that much more significant. So I expect us to survive. I think we'll be okay in the Championship. I've seen a lot of the Championship because I've seen Derby. I'm based in Derby. I see Derby a lot. I've seen a lot of the Championship level. The top half is outside our capability, but the bottom half is very much within our capability. So I would expect us to finish about 14th. And we'd be very happy with that level of consolidation. I think we'll move on from there.
Interesting. I definitely think I had you higher than that on my prediction list. So
did you? Where did you have us then, Greg?
Oh, I wish that I had it in front of me to remember, but
I saw one that said 9th today.
I think it was about 8th or 9th, something like that.
You had like 10, like 11. I think it was 12th because we both had Watford at 11. I had Wrexham at 8th because I think if your team gels with some of the signings you've brought in, I think you could easily push to the top half. Right, and that's if everything goes right and gels. But but if not, we could easily see you about where. And I think, but to be fair, Greg, you also had Birmingham like 5th. So I don't know. I feel like you watched the documentary on Prime and then we're just like, "Wow, that's it, me sold."
I'd have Birmingham ahead of Wrexham. Birmingham are finishing ahead of Wrexham this season. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
It's just whether we brought a lot of new players in and how long that process takes just to embed those players, because a lot of them are joining now and there's a couple more coming in and we've already signed 8. So there's a lot of, I think we won't really understand the level of this team till about 10 or 12 games. I think.
Zach, we've been optimistic, I think it's safe to say, heading into this build-up of the Championship, right? Hearing that about 8 signings, we've still got more or less the same team, except we've got rid of some. Does
We sold some players.
Does that perspective change the mood, or is it because we've got so many good returning loan players that we're hoping that they're effectively new signings in spirit?
That's a big thing for me. Like I say, some of the ones that did impress the most are sort of youth players that didn't really play last season. Jay Robinson being one of them. You've had Shea Charles come back for Championship experience. You've had, whether or not, I don't know what's going to happen with Masuki, but he played really well as well. Whether or not people like Edozie, I think that he offers just something slightly different to what we've had. And also, it's going to be a slightly different shape and different team, because we're not going to have Solomana and Onuachu, who were basically mainstays for the entirety of the end of last season. So I don't know if it's panic buttons yet. Quashie looks solid, Downs looks solid. We were told 3 sanctioned transfers. We have had 2 out of those 3. The fans forums tonight, and as we're recording this, and half of that is essentially people being like, "So where's the new players?" And the big worry about Matty Fernandez and Dibbling, who's obviously a transfer saga on his own at this point. Fernandez, who attracted 12 to 13 clubs, but by the looks of it, none of them are actually willing to put up any of the money yet. And I think that if we get to the point where they can both play together, that would be a significantly stronger side than what we've seen in pre-season. And we've had an okay pre-season. I can understand the want and need to panic that we haven't just gone out and bought tons of players. Some of the wording tonight around the fact that they're trying to get around, they're like, "Oh, we'll put us in a better position for PSR next year." You're like, the fact that you think you're going into the Premier League is ambitious at best, especially with the club that the side that we've got at the moment. And we are having to be our own backers, Greg. But I guess, as I said before, cautious optimism, right? I think we have the opportunity to do really, really well, but we could also still be saints about it.
Okay, right. That takes us nicely. We're going to move in and focus more specifically on the game, the opening day of the season, with a nice early kickoff. But first, a break and a message from our partners at Bionic.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionic, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionic provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionic. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
He's got a sexy voice, that bloke. He does go on a bit, doesn't he? Drags it out a bit, whoever he is.
Marvellous. All right, let's get to Zach, we've talked before about the 2 paths of the Disney Plus documentary that this game comes to, right? Either this is the moment where Wrexham realise how hard life in the Championship's going to be, come into a big ground like St Mary's and getting absolutely fought tooth and nail and having a really tough time of it, or it's the start of the documentary where they beat their first club in the Championship and carry on sailing through to a party. What are you feeling heading into this?
It could be the 30-second part of the documentary, mate, where it's a 1-1 draw and absolutely neither side is happy with what the result is. So swings and roundabouts. I don't know. I think I'm at this point. there's been such a focus from us for pre-season and everything, and talking about players and is it going to work on the pitch? I think I'm just looking forward to seeing a game happen that isn't going to be overanalyzed because it's a friendly. It'll be interesting to see who's actually going to get into the squad for us, and it will be interesting to sort of. I guess it's just nice that the Premier League's over, and I think my vibes are we're going to be back to a much better league, playing a team that has more buzz around it than a lot of the other teams we played probably the whole of last season. So I don't know where I'm at, Greg. I think that obviously I'd like us to win, but the part of the story that would be truly boring would be like a draw, right?
I read the Matchday information today on the website, and because it's an early kickoff, the fan zones are opening at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you fancy that for a start, let's really get in the mood. Are we in agreement, Zach? Tyler Dibbling probably not in the Matchday squad?
Yeah, I can't. Considering he's training away, and they've talked about there's tons of different reports as to why, right? Like, might be to do with the manager, might be to do with him. Either way, he's not going to be involved, in my opinion. I think that he's one that's definitely, going to be off to the side. I'd like to see Matty in the squad, though, because he's been back training with the team. I think that his transfer, if it happens, is potentially, I'd say, a long way off in terms of, it's not going to happen in the next couple of days, which means that we could get him into the team. And as I said, for the friendly game at Brighton, with Brighton, we had, Downs and we had Quashie in the team. I'd like to see them both get a start. Again, my defensive line was pretty much spot on for that. Again, I just thought Sugawara over Bree, and I pretty much will I would say Wellington, Stevens. I'd like to see Quashie start, and then Sugawara right back. I don't know about you, in the defence.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with that. I could see Bree slotting in, although I don't know if that would be the most popular decision.
No.
But it's going to be an interesting one. The lineup, I think, is going to be such an important one as well, because there are going to be a large amount of Saints fans who haven't paid attention to pre-season in such detail as we have, and look at that first Will Still competitive team lineup and make their mind there and then as to whether that's going to be it for the season or not. And you've already got the reasonably contentious, if they've not been paying attention, of Bazunu in goal and Stevens at the back.
Well, yeah, that's the Ramsdale. Ramsdale's gone. We just have to accept that. It's probably the only piece of business that Newcastle will manage this year. But you've got the whole Stevens. I think people are going to be aware of because he signed a new contract, right? And that has annoyed a lot of people. I think that it's going to be like if, for example, Ryan Fraser gets a start. I think that will be a thing for some people. They're like, oh no, we've just fallen back. Which, as we pointed out, Greg, I think is harsh, but people have made up their mind already. And there are going to be people that haven't paid as much attention. We sit here and talk about this daily, and I think we forget that that isn't going to be the standard, knowledge of everybody that pays attention to the club. And you're right. I think this team sheet's going to be vitally important, which is why I also think it's going to be good to get the new signings out there, hungry to actually score some goals. We need that. That's really what we're missing, isn't it? I feel like we've been saying this since about 2016. But just being a Saints fan is we need some attacking flair. Not gone are the days of Tadic and Mane and that lot, innit?
Yes, unfortunately so. Ken, what's the Wrexham squad looking like coming into this? What are you expecting the team to look like?
Well, Phil Parkinson's got a particular way of setting up, and he's really this has become his kind of house style, which he's playing three at the back. Connor Cody, we've brought in from Leicester, decent at this level. We saw him at Wolves. He's decent. He's not a Premiership player, but he's a very decent Championship player. So he's going to be the centre of that three. Play with wing backs, so I suspect we'll play a 5-3-2, a 5-3-1-1 against you, because Parkinson always goes with one up front and one sitting behind. It generally gets his width from wing backs, and you'll have three across the middle. I would imagine when we're playing at home, it'll probably be something like a 3-5-1-1, but it'll be a 5-3-1-1 away. And it's worth bearing in mind, Wrexham generally have done well because they've dominated their home games. it's the Kairas, the racecourse, has been a fortress for the last 3 years. We've not been that great away from home. That's probably going to get exposed a little bit, I think, this season. I think our away form will catch us out this season a little bit. We are decent out of possession. That's if you're looking for a trademark Wrexham kind of performance, it's soaking up a lot of pressure away from home and being really good on the transition. Really good on the transition, and with pace and with inventiveness and flooding the opposition defence. So that's, if you like, our away tactic. I imagine it'll be similar. I would imagine you guys will get 68% possession. We'll soak it up and we'll try and hit you hard at set pieces, which we're generally pretty good at, and on the transition. But, there's going to be certainly 5 of the players who are going to be lining up have never played together before. So that's going to be a thing. That's going to be your advantage. But I think the one thing we've got to remember, we're both in the same league for a reason, which is we're generally the same standard. That's why the leagues are the way they are. So we're there because we were too good for League One. You're there because you weren't good enough for the Premier League, and we've kind of met in the middle. Now, I do think your quality is going to win out. I think a 1-1, going back to what Zach was saying, is not a bad shout on this one. If there's going to be a winner, it'll be Southampton. But it won't be. We don't concede many, so it isn't going to be 4-0. I can't work out whether it's a 1-1 or a 2-1 Southampton. I'm going to go 2-1 Southampton.
Interesting. One of our old players, Jay Rodriguez, in your squad? Is he likely to get on the pitch and get some minutes, do you think?
No, he's not. I think he's got a bit of a niggle, so I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be playing. I think one of the things we've got to contend with, it seems crazy at the start of the season, we've got a couple of injury worries of players that probably would have played who now aren't going to play, and therefore we've got to put players who literally have just landed in Wrexham. Most of them actually did land by helicopter in Wrexham. They're going to be playing. So it's going to be. First games of the season are always weird. They always throw up weird results. It's because most of the players have never met each other before, and this is going to be particularly the case for Wrexham. So I don't think we're not going to go and beat you 3-0. We're going to be playing it fairly defensively, I think. Parkinson's good at that. But I think ultimately you'll probably just have enough probably to nick one in the 75th minute and close it out against us.
Interesting. Okay, we're going to come back, get some locked-in score predictions and some thoughts about the rest of the game. But first, a message from our partners at Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner, with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It's super easy to start podcasts that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description and learn more about Zencastr.
You do that better than me, Greg. I do that so many times on the podcast I do. And I was about to do it again then myself, but you do it with such more panache than I do. Well done.
Appreciate that. Right, let's get to it. Zach, I'm going to throw you under the bus as always, because that is tradition. What are you feeling? What's the score going to be come 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon?
I like 2-1. I feel like that would be a solid start to Still's regime. We don't really know how tactically we're gonna line up. He's versatile, which is a thing that we're so not used to, which is going to be fascinating to watch this season. I can't see us not conceding. I know that people are already criticising Baz. I don't necessarily think it'll be Baz. I think classic Jack Stevens mistake just to upset literally everybody in the stadium. It's something, Greg, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have potentially, I'm hoping that David Downs will bag his first goal at St Mary's in front of everybody. And then a Jay Robinson goal as well, right? Because I think that would just really set the mood for, actually, we are going to give it a go this season. Can everybody stop immediately panicking? And then we get overconfident because it's Wrexham we've beaten.
Are you saying Wrexham are going to score first? Is that what you're throwing out there?
Yeah, because I'd like to see us actually learn to recover from that, because we just can't. We haven't been able to do that for the rest of what feels like time, right? They did it in a friendly the other week against Brighton, came back from 2 to 2-2, but that's a friendly. This is a real important game to kind of, stamp how our season's going to be.
It's going to be fascinating to see how the atmosphere plays out if that is the case, because there's still a lot of wounds that are fresh from last season, I think, and
it was brutal. Like we talk about trauma, it was traumatic. Like that's not even us. They brought in sports psychologists to talk to the players about it. Yeah. Half of those players left.
It's because they had PTSD. I reckon one of the things, there'd be 3,000 Wrexham fans there, and Wrexham fans make noise. And if we go one up, all you'll hear will be Wrexham. All you'll hear will be Wrexham.
We'll sing that in the chapel song, Greg.
We love that. Is this one of the bigger away days in recent years for Wrexham? 3,000 on?
No. I mean, Wrexham take thousands of people everywhere. I mean, Birmingham do as well, but Wrexham are, and a lot of it. I mean, we always took a lot of people. I mean, I remember when we played Derby away in the cup, when we were bottom of League Two, 3,000 people. And this is one of the reasons they invested in Wrexham. They've got a massive following, and always have had a massive following. So we could have sold 8,000 tickets for this game. But so it is. But it is, just to answer your question, it is very much it's a critical away game for us, because this is, if you're going to have an away game, having your first game against a side that's come down from the Premier League almost feels like a cup match. It feels like a free hit for us as well, which is kind of in our favour, because no one expects us to go to St Mary's? It probably isn't St Mary's anymore, is it?
It is St Mary's.
St Mary's Stadium.
No one expects us to go to St Mary's and win. So it feels cuppy to me, and it probably does to quite a lot of Wrexham supporters. So I think they're going to have a great time. They're going to be absolutely buzzing for it. If we do go one up, and I can see that, I see Southampton winning 2-1, Wrexham going one up. They're quite feasibly. I think if that does happen, it's going to be an electric atmosphere, certainly in the Wrexham end.
I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to have something to sing back against. I think that it's going to be jovial. It's not like it's a team that we've got any particularly bad or nasty history with. I think that it's going to be good spirits and celebrations all round. I think it's going to be I'm really excited to get back to the football.
There's the sadistic part of me. There's a sadistic part of me, Greg, that looks forward to the new seasons where weird little rivalries like that can take place, right?
Yeah.
Like with my still, and I pointed out before, and I'll point out again, my weird bitterness against Watford for a handball that happened about 5 years ago that I still, for some reason, haven't got over. And it's an opportunity for those things to happen, right? Like the Dan Burn incident at Newcastle last year that resulted in all Newcastle fans then hating us, and people even being mad about the Ramsdale transfer about it, which is fascinating to see. They're having their own meltdown over there. But you say, Greg, there's no ill will. What if J Rod was fit and came in and scored a hat trick against us, and then all of a sudden Wrexham became like this weird bogey team, and then we're moaning about it 5 years down the line, and that's again like one of the fascinating tapestries of football, right? For us to develop these sort of weird things. But the Wrexham story is unfortunately just incredible, because it's like when you take a team of Football Manager from the lower leagues into the Championship, except someone did it in real life.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely insane.
So, which really means we're going to end up winning the Champions League in like year 6. Because that's how those things work out. They always do. We sign Messi, and those. I mean, that's the script, isn't it? That is the script.
Yeah.
You're just, and the idea is you guys are the next four guys in the script. I don't think it's going to work out that way. We're going to have a bit of a season where we just have to come to terms with the fact that things aren't always going to go our way, and it's probably going to start on Saturday.
Oh, look,
we're going to have to figure out that things might actually go our way occasionally.
Yeah, that's it. All right, no good script is actually good without a bit of hurt on the way to success.
Correct.
And, hopefully we can deliver that after suffering what can only be called our fair share of it last season.
Understatement, mate.
I think you might be right, Zach. I think we probably will concede first. I want a few goals. I'm thinking maybe 3-1. Let's just get the party going. I don't know where they're coming from. Did any of our strikers score more than 4 goals overall at all last season?
Yeah, I'll watch it. And then we let him go to Turkey.
Yeah. I don't know.
We don't concede 3 very often.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean,
that's asking a lot.
Imagine a world where we get to game week 3 and either Adam Armstrong or Damien Downs is already matched last year's top goals scored for us. That could happen.
Yeah, that is feasible. And that again, that's a whole other discussion about the gulf between the two leagues, right? Something we're slowly remembering and learning a harsh lesson about. But yeah, I don't know. I think 3 is a bit ambitious, Greg, but I like the idea.
Yeah. Oh look, but overly ambitious and optimistic is really my personality heading into it.
It took you the whole of last season to eventually predict a loss. And I don't think you felt better for it, to be fair.
I did not. And look, that's probably going to continue this season. Let's be honest.
I can't believe it. So this is my first game of the season, and I'm predicting a loss.
Yeah. It took to the last day of the season last year for reality really to set in for me, unfortunately.
I take great comfort from that. The fact that your prediction skills are so lackluster that you predicted a 3-1 for Southampton.
Yeah.
I'm about to run out here and put the whole mortgage on a Wrexham away win now.
Well, if there's any words to live by, right, it's never back the early kickoff. If it's going to happen, 12:30 on opening day of the season in a game that is, in more people's eyes than probably any other game this weekend for so many reasons, it is the banana skin waiting to happen. That's definitely out there. It's not.
So what I'm hearing, mate, is 0-0 because that is terrible. Terrible for everyone watching the early kickoff. Terrible for all the fans in the stadium. An absolutely awful wait.
If this ends up 0-0, I'm going to be high-fiving complete strangers all the way across Derby for about 3 days.
Oh, you're right. There is a winner regardless.
Yeah, look, it's definitely going to be an interesting game, but the atmosphere in my house is palpable. The kids are literally bouncing, ready to get back to St Mary's. Also to watch the team that they have been forced to sit and watch the documentary of for series upon series. They are looking forward to it, no end.
Greg, is your wife going?
No. No, she's sitting this one out, but there was a sales pitch there. But look, Ken, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been great having you on, and look forward to having you on again later in the season, I'm sure, as we come to the reverse fixture. Zach, as always, thank you for joining me. Thank you everyone for listening. Let us know in the comments or on social media what your score prediction is. Is this the kickstart to the season where we go 46 games with 46 wins? Let us know. We are on all the socials. We're on Twitter, X, they're the same thing, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of them. We're out there. Go and give Ken a listen on the World Cup, the Road to the World Cup podcast.
World Cup 26, and soon Daily Premier League is coming up next week, so we're going to be launching that, so that's going to be exciting.
Nice. All of the podcasts are out. They are fantastic on the Global Sports Podcast Network. A wealth of football to absorb because it is finally back. It's finally here, and the season gets underway, and we cannot wait. Like I say, thank you very much for joining us. We will be back on Monday with a reaction. Whatever happens, one way or the other, we will still be here. We look forward to it. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you then.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.